So, first, I love that term trait polychronicity. That's so academic. I
Yeah,
absolutely love it. I adore it. I'm going to use it as many times as I can today.
me too.
And, but you're really, can we use the word intention? Like mindful behind the intent. The intention is to be mindful
Mhm.
while planning. So you can be mindful, but you're directing your attention, your energy, your focus to the future because that's what the task requires for you at that point in time. If you
Love
want
that.
to reminisce with your family and about the vacation you had last year, to reconnect to your why and how much you love spending time together, that's not just ruminating, that's actually doing it with intention.
That's right.
And that's the power, is being mindful in the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. Intention being a key word. I absolutely love that. I think you're well on your way to being a Zen leadership philosopher.
I'm that's it. That's my goal. I appreciate that. So mindful multitasking. I think that's fantastic. The last thing I want to ask you about is emotional intelligence in relation to job fit.
Okay.
So can we, how does that fit in? And does every job require that we have emotional intelligence?
Yes. I think emotional intelligence is important. And I think it's a real thing. We oddly enough, emotional intelligence, there's some naysayers out there that do not think it is a real thing. And part of the reason that is because of the way that it was being tested. We talked a little bit about measures and surveys and how to actually capture some of these leadership styles. But in terms of capturing emotional intelligence, there was some surveys out there or questionnaires out there that were self-rated. How can you self-rate on your self-awareness accurately? How can you self-rate on your other awareness accurately, right? So those are great arguments and they're very legit. But there's also lots of emotional intelligence measures out there that come at it from an ability standpoint, right? So you have an ability to actually engage in those behaviors. And it just needs to be measured in a different way. And it needs to be compared against a norm or the rest of the population. It needs to be a specific behavioral task. It can't be a self-rating or your perceptions of emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence, there is some great research out there using that ability-based perspective to illustrate that, yes, it does have long-term implications that are positive and helpful. In one of the studies that I did with one of my colleagues at Miami, Joe Rohde, he collected data on emotional intelligence using this ability-based emotional intelligence test from undergrads when they were, I think, juniors, seniors in college. 10 years later, they followed up with as many of them as they possibly could and asked them a bunch of questions about their current work environment. Interestingly, emotional intelligence was incredibly powerful over 10 years in predicting all sorts of things. One of them being the extent to which they had better job fit as well as better organization fit. And so, what job fit is, there's actually two different types. It's the extent to which you are in a job where your abilities match the demands of that specific position, right? There also is person job fit in the extent to which the job that you're in matches your needs from a psychological perspective. How much autonomy do I need? How much relatedness do I need? How much control do I need? And then person organization fit is the extent to which your values align with the values of the organization that you work for. So people that are in tune have this sense of self-awareness, other awareness, emotional self-regulation, and all those other dimensions of emotional intelligence. 10 years later, we're able to strongly predict the extent to which, arguably, we're engaging in work that we like. We're in a job that we like within an organization that we like. It was also super helpful in overcoming what we would call career challenges across the line. So we looked at employment gaps that may be either voluntary or involuntary. And people that were high on emotional intelligence were very good at kind of recuperating and making sure they stayed on the right track, even when they had hiccups within their work career over that 10-year period.
That's fantastic. So if I think back to the job fit idea, so there's the knowledge, skill, ability fit. There's the
Mm-hmm.
personality, the drive that you have, the work, the control that you mentioned, and also the organizational alignment. Those three come together, and you have to consider all three. It sounds like not just do I have the skills, but is it a fit for me personally, and does it actually fit the larger vision, mission that I'm comfortable in pursuing in my life and my work.
That's right. Yeah, I would even challenge everybody out there to really evaluate their work on multiple dimensions the two job fit dimensions, demands, abilities, as well as needs, supplies, as well as personal organization fit, your values and the values of your organization. But then there's also other fit determinations, such as your fit with your supervisor. And you could look at that from a values perspective or a personality perspective. You could also evaluate person group fit. So, how do you align or not align? Or maybe even said a different way, how do you complement or supplement whatever it is that your group has to offer? And so I tell my undergrads this all the time. You are consistently, as a career management type conversation, going to be thinking through the degree to which you have fit on any of these five categories, or however many you want to categorize them into. And just know that it's always going to be a work in progress, and that it might seem sometimes like the right thing to do is to just jump ship and go to a different company. But a lot of times it's going to be up to you and your ability to do what's called job craft and really think through how to change your work environment yourself. You are in charge of your own destiny. You are the leader of your own career. And so you have to get in there and say, are there opportunities that could be win-win for me to make changes to what I'm doing and what other people are doing in order to make my work more fulfilling from a variety of different perspectives, right? So thinking through our work environment in terms of fit can be a helpful mechanism for figuring out how to improve it.
I love that. You don't just have to jump ship. You actually can shape the organization you're in. If you're going to jump ship anyways, why not give it a try?
That's right. Yeah, in human resource management for a long time, the assumption is that like it's top down. Hey, my human resource director is going to tell me what my next career move is. Maybe, but not really anymore. You're in charge of your career, and you have to ask the questions. You got to find mentors. You have to figure out ways to do it yourself, or you might be passed on.
Wonderful. Scott, thank you so much for spending time with us. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you and continue the conversation?
Sure. So, like I said earlier, I'm kind of on a mission to kind of infuse practice with scientific evidence and kind of meet in the middle between these two parties. And so, then go to my website, scottdust.com. I have a newsletter called Resources for Human Capital Enthusiasts, where I take a timely topic. For example, the most recent one is virtual leadership, right? Clearly, that's something people are asking a lot of questions about right now. And I dive into the academic literature and I condense it into what I think are the most important things that practitioners should be considering from an academic evidence-based perspective and try to put it in very clear, simple terms. All my social media outlets are available there as well. I've got stuff on YouTube. I've got a Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook page. And then also, if they're interested in Cloverleaf, where I'm the chief research officer, they can go to cloverleaf.me and evaluate some of those resources, especially if you're a coach or consultant and you're interested in assessments at large and coaching your organizations on how to improve in terms of leadership or team development. There's a lot of good resources there and opportunities for partnerships.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thanks again for being here. And thank you all for listening and watching. Until next time, develop yourself, empower others, and lead by example. Take care.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.